Hi, my name is Beth Tuminello, Mrs. T Chem Talk Teacher Tech, and this video will be about setting up a shared Jamboard with your students to check for students' perceived understanding. And you can do this virtually. One of the reasons why I think this is so important is because if we're teaching virtually, we will lose some of those nonverbal cues, and this will help us to understand what's going on a little bit about how the students feel about what we're teaching. Please subscribe and follow me to Google Jamboard. So I've taken us to Google Jamboard, which is jamboard.google.com, which is a Google extension. And you can see that I am signed in here. And this happens to be the screen that you'll come to. Any of the jams that you have created will show up here. I'm going to open up a jam that I have already previously made so that I can show you what I plan to do with it. So this was one of the thoughts that I had, was to have a shared Jamboard where the students have edit access, and while I'm teaching, the students can pick an icon, I teach chemistry, and move it, and it can be under the green if they feel as though they're getting it. They can move their icon to the yellow if they feel like they need me to slow down, and they can move it over to the red if they really think they're lost and they need me to stop for a second. I can visually have this open on another device while I'm virtually teaching and get maybe some of that input that I would normally get from a nonverbal cue from the way the students are sitting in their seats or the way that they're looking at me in the classroom. But the problem that I found with this is that these are not identified. So two students at the same time could be trying to work on the same or move the same icon. So what I decided that I'm going to do instead to combat that, I'm just opening a new jam, is I'm going to invite the students to edit and actually bring in their own icons. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can ask each student to make a Post-it, and they can put their name on the Post-it. And when they do that, they can move their Post-it from green to yellow to red, and actually physically move it from place to place, right? Or the other thing that I thought might be cool is that you can actually tell them that if you make your Post-it green, you make your Post-it yellow, or you can make your Post-it red, which would really be pink. And what that would mean is that as students, instead of having them try to drag it around while they're having trouble, if someone has a yellow Post-it, they can just not move it and just keep the color. And then if they feel as though they get it, they can just change it to green. And if they feel as though they need you to stop, they can just change it to pink. And you can just see the colors changing on the screen while students are feeling better or worse about the pacing of your lesson. And that might be something that would help you gauge their perceived understanding. And here I've just made some of these Post-its I've made them all green, and these happen to be some of the named storms from the 2020 tropical storm season. But I just made these, and maybe what you could do if you don't want students to be constantly changing the colors and constantly focusing on this, what you can do is at certain points in your virtual lesson, you can have understanding checks. And you can say, if I were to ask you a question right now, please keep your Post-it green if you feel as though you can answer this question confidently. Please change your Post-it to yellow if you feel as though you would need some help. Please change your Post-it to pink or red if you feel as though you are unable to even start the question. And so then in real time, the students can go to those three dots on the side and edit the color of their Post-it And when they edit the color of their Post-it, you can have a real-time view of how your students are feeling without that input from the nonverbal cues that you would have if those students are in your classroom with you every day. And you can use this for lots of different things. You can also do something where you just draw a circle and you can ask them to drag their Post-it into the circle if they feel as though they are comfortable with what is going on. Or you can have them drag their Post-it into the circle if they have a question. And it's just an interactive, it's a way for the students to be focused on you and focused on how they are feeling about what you're teaching at any given time. Now, some of the things that you need to keep note of, you should have a conversation with your students about digital citizenship and your rules, which should be that the only thing that you use this Jamboard for is what the teacher is asking you to use it for. Some people get a little nervous about giving your students live edit access. But remember, when someone is moving something in Google Documents and in shared Google Documents, their little picture and usually initials show up associated with the piece that they're moving. So it is not completely anonymous. In order to do this, what you would do, you would make sure, in order to get the students able to use this and move this around while you're doing this, you would have to go to the share settings. And once you click on share, you would actually want to go to this part here that says change. And you want to pull down right here and you want to change it to editor. So once you change that to editor and you share that link out to your students, and you can share that out either in chat, in the chat in the Google Meet or the Zoom or in Google Classroom or whatever, your students can then have this Jamboard open in a separate window or a separate device, and they can be ready to answer these interactive questions as you go on. So this was just one way to use Jamboard with a virtual meeting, but hopefully you found it helpful. So this was Mrs. T Chem Talk Teacher Tech for setting up a shared Jamboard to check students' perceived understanding. Please subscribe and come back to my channel for other teacher technology videos as well as lots of chemistry videos. Thank you.